So what are we doing? Basically, we're drunkenly staggering around. We're at the mercy of the dice. Basically, the question is, what can we do to change that?
Yeah.
I know. Shit, I should have thought of this. Do that again, but do it with athletics this time.
Okay.
Athletics is what we should have done for the spear maneuvering. Right.
Okay.
So let's do that again. Okay. So I'm in the same situation I was in before.
Okay.
Bloody. And I'm trying to get the spear away from you because that thing is dangerous. And I don't want you using your spear fighting anymore. Right?
Yes.
I want you bumped down to your unarmed combat, which is unskilled. So
yes.
All right.
I misread my thing last time. I added all of them together. That was dumb. I was actually at +1. But so right now I'm at a +3.
And I am at -1. So I am at there. Good. I am the word I wanted. So I get marginal. I would have got a good result with a competent skill with a 0, but I'm -1, so I get marginal. What's yours? Or rather, you started at adept, right?
Competent athletics.
Oh, competent athletics. And so what's your oh wait. Mine doesn't count. We'll just let my roll stand. You started good. How many successes did you get?
I'm at +3.
You're at competent. It's good. 1, 2, 3, 5. All right. Yeah, I think you get five successes. So that's 5 bonus dice, which gives you 7 bonus dice. So you're rolling 10 dice for your thing.
All right, and I keep the 3 highest.
Yeah.
All right. Well, before I even finish rolling all, I already had 3 6s.
So good enough. So you've got your +3, right? And so this time, given the adept, you're going to be doing 5 harm, which is enough to drive me down to past 6. So I will be defeated.
Nice.
Broken.
You're broken.
And punctured me to death. So that's how that worked. So there's some similarities there. If you get like a bad bounce, then you're very vulnerable. Right? That's one thing. Another is something we didn't really have the nuances for these characters to do, which is the ability to do all kinds of interesting things with different abilities. And also I forgot that NPCs have pools as well. So I could have been getting at least a bonus die in there. I could have.
Right.
The way it works is that I can only get one at a time from a pool. So I probably would have used one in that last roll, the last couple of rolls, to get rid of that penalty.
That makes sense.
I would have just been rolling the 3, so I forgot about that. But pools run out, obviously. They're not that high.
Yeah.
So, and also you have to do specific actions to take them back. They don't refresh at the end of conflicts. So that's actually kind of important. So anyway, so that's how Shadow of Yesterday goes.
That's interesting.
And then finally, I'm getting a little tired. Circle of Hands, I don't think we have time for. Let's take a look at your rules.
Okay.
Your mayhem. And what we find, first of all, is that the narrator announces one move for each of the characters in the conflict under their control.
Yep.
The player then announces 2 moves they will make with their characters. And there are 3 phases in a turn, and you distribute them per phase, in the phases somehow. I don't know if you do you state that up front? Like, you're going to say, I'm going to be on phase 1 and phase 3, or I'm going to be on phase 2 and phase 3, or what?
Yeah. More or less, the the narrator frames the scene with specific actions that the adversaries will take, and then the players in playtest it worked best when they just announced what phases they wanted to opt.
Does the narrator also say what phases they're in, or does he just go on the first one?
Well, the moves are arranged by phase. So like what moves you decide go in different phases.
Oh, I see. Okay, right.
Yeah.
Okay, so first phase. I see. Right. So if you're going to lash out, it has to be on the second phase.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. So then, so this is, of course, a little bit like what they do in the form of Burning Wheel that I'm familiar with, where you sort of, but in that game, it's kept secret. You basically reveal, as you move through the phases.
Gotcha.
So you've got your characteristics and your scores. And so let's see, you're going to roll 7 6-sided dice, the passion dice. And then you have to check each die relative to the characteristic.
Yeah.
And then you have, and you need to get 4 to hit, basically. You need 4 of them to make it. And then you have something called a triumph score, which is, I believe, goes up from 0 based on those results.
Yeah, every die that scores gives you a triumph.
But you need to get 4. If you get like 3 dice, then you don't get any triumph.
Okay. Correct.
I see this mathematically. We're kind of working our way through a whole lot to get to that value, but that's okay. So, okay, I got my brain back on. You're going to do, as far as I can tell, 4, 5, 6, or 7 triumph.
Yes, unless you
fail.
Or you use hope dice or hate dice. Those radically change your triumph. But
okay, so then add as many dice as you want, right? And so those are a little bit like and then you have to check the hope dice specially. So for 3 and 4, the hope dice that scores adds its value. And that's very different from the base 7 dice, where it's every die that scores adds 1. Okay.
Correct.
So that's
they don't score very often. They score 1/3 of the time, but they have a chance to very intensely bounce up the value of the triumph.
Mm-hmm. Hope dice that do not score lower the player's hope by 1 each. So hope dice that do score, the player's hope remains unchanged.
Correct.
So you don't lose hope just by doing it. Oh, you only lose hope if you fail when you do. I got you.
Correct. Yeah. Right.
You lose all hope only by using hope and failing out, right? It's the only way.
Correct. Or having 1 hope left, losing a conflict. That presently the rule is if you lose a conflict, there's 1 hope.
Right. Okay. And narrator characters are basically less nuanced, but they have better scoring possibilities.
Yeah. They have a bouncier. They get more triumph when they do succeed, but they don't succeed as easily.
Right.
And they have less options.
Okay, and so your 7 can drop. Your 7. No. Your Okay, never mind that part. Let's see. So do damage equal to triumph, right? So here's my thing. It seems really rich, which is not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah.
But do you see how the richness is all based on these things about, passion and determination and spending resources, but not much about on what you're actually doing?
Yeah.
Did you see in both of the games that we played, the physicality of the actions actually affected your dice?
Yeah.
And yet in both of them, emotions were involved as well.
Right.
Because, for example, defeating an opponent gained Violet experience because of her key of bloodlust. So I mean, she had experience to gain from that.
Yeah.
Um,
The what I was hoping for was that in moves where you gained advantage, you would it would this is part of what I wanted to talk to you about is that you would um in essence narrate what the form
oh,
of the
I
advantage
get all
was.
that. I mean, the logic is clear. I mean, you're saying that we're going to get fiction because who would not narrate what you do if you're being more, hopeful or something, right? I
Yeah.
mean, but I'm saying that there is the possibility that we saw in those other systems where what you do is in and of itself its bonus, and yet they both seem like they were very emotional fights, even though we barely knew the characters anyway,
Yeah.
right? So in other
Yeah.
words, it's not physicality versus emotion and theme, that you have to have
Yeah.
one or the other, or that they somehow have a zero-sum relationship to it. Instead, in both Pendragon and Shadow of Yesterday, the specific abilities that you use and the specific actions that you take and the specific damage that you've taken all factor into what exactly you're going to be rolling.
Mm.
And your emotions are involved as well. The one cannot help but think that the specialty, about fighting men is a thing, right, for Violet.
Yeah. Yeah.
And one cannot help but think as well that the fact that she gets an experience point for this is, not a pro forma point that she sticks down on her sheet.
Right.
So
So
there, go ahead. Yeah.
do you think that physicality needs to be? Well, I guess it's not really that so much in the. It is in Pendragon, but it's not in the Shadow of Yesterday that the physicality is explicit in the rules,
It,
like
it can
knockdown.
be. I mean, look at the athletics.
Mm.
It can be,
Mm.
right? I mean, it's the fact that you didn't, how am I going to put it? You spent a point from your vigor pool for a bonus almost every time, and even that has a certain physicality to it. You can kind of see her sweat, right, and throw her back into it. But
Yeah.
the but not only that, but doing the athletics as the augmenter to the spear, there's something rather satisfying to saying, I'm doing this athletically.
Mm.
I'm going to do this physicality. I'm going to, wait until, he gets it out a little bit, and then I'm going to capitalize on that. So you're basically using your physical competence as, now this is what I roll to see how many bonus dice I get.
Right.